What?
Yeah, so I have a
They
joke.
do not say that to you.
Some white people will come up to me and go, "Oh my God, that joke is my favorite joke." My dad used to say stuff like that. And I go, in my mind, I'm like, you just said it. What are you talking about? Your dad? You just said it in front of me. All right, welcome to the Yo Show. It's Michael Yo. That's Alex right there. Hit that subscribe button. Today, I want to talk about Kanye West. He's all over the news. And here's the thing with Kanye West. I've interviewed him probably like 4 or 5 times. And I wanted to do a deep dive, not necessarily a deep dive, but I wanted to talk about some things that have got us to this point. First of all, before we even start that, your thoughts on just Kanye West in general right now?
He's having a manic episode. Kanye West is in the middle of a manic episode right now, and the whole world is watching it.
And the biggest problem I have is, look, we can talk about it all we want, but when you actually put him on television in different outlets, you are basically opening the door for all this craziness to come out. But that's where we are in this world, where media 20, 30, 50 years ago would not interview a crazy person. And the reason why I'm calling him crazy is because right now he admits he's bipolar and is not on his medications. Like, he said that. I don't take my medications. I'm bipolar. He comes out. Every time he has an episode, he'll disappear for like a month and then go, yo, I didn't mean all that because I was not on my meds. You can't use that as an excuse anymore. You know what I mean? And for all these people putting him on TV, I understand why you do it. It's for ratings. It's for clicks. Because, look, my level of clicks is not close to a lot of people. But if Kanye, which I would never have him on the podcast, but if he did, because I don't support what he does, if he does it, basically every 200,000 views you get on a 12-minute segment is worth like $1,000 to $1,500, right? So just think about if you did a Kanye West interview and you had a clip go 10 million. I mean, you're going to make on a lower level, like my level, if I interviewed him and had a clip go 5 to 10 million, you're going to make $60,000 to $100,000 off that clip. Now, just think if you're a news outlet, you're going to get ratings. You're going to make that extra 150. And like sponsors are attached to that. Just think, and I'm at a lower level. Joe Rogan, who starts with 11 million people, if he had Kanye on, you're talking about a clip that will have 40 to 60 million views probably. I mean, just think about how much money you would make from a Kanye clip. Just him being on your show. Now, I understand that side. And like I said, there's a lot of podcasts out there. And I understand that side of it because you get attention and your podcast could blow up. But I think we've reached a point where, we're putting on a guy that basically can say whatever he wants, no facts involved. But this is like not just Kanye, this is news in general right now.
I think what's crazy is that Adidas didn't step in to like revoke that brand deal until pressure was put on them. Like, to me, as soon as he said, anything close to done, but in order to cut that brand deal, Adidas had to lose out on like 250 million or something.
Yeah.
And the brand is valued at way more than that.
They said by losing Kanye's association with Adidas, the Yeezy brand, they're going to lose like $250 million this year. And that's why it took them so long. I mean, they didn't say that part, but it took them a while everybody else was dropping Kanye West. What's interesting to me about that, Kanye has dogged black people, African Americans for years, and sponsors didn't care then. Like, he basically went on TMZ and said it was a choice for black people to be slaves. And he got ran into the ground by my man, I believe his name is Van Jones. Van Jones just broke him down on the show, made him look stupid and ridiculous. But he said, this is exactly what Kanye said. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. You were there for 400 years, and it's all of y'all. And I understand.
You know what?
I don't understand what he's saying, but I know what he's trying to say.
He's right. It was a choice for the white people to keep them as slaves.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't understand how we as a society can see somebody who's clearly mentally ill
Yes.
and continue to pump the agenda. Like,
But because it's pathetic. Because news now is entertainment news. And I've said it before. I've said I had a friend at another network that's a news network and kind of made fun of me when I started at entertainment news 15 years ago. And now all news is entertainment news. They just wants to, you could, and this is Trump and Biden, you could have a president talk about real stuff for 2 hours, but they're just going to play the clip where Biden talks about Trump or Trump talks about Biden. And that's all people care about now. I'm around so many different kind of people because I was in South Carolina. I go to North Carolina. I go to Middle America. I perform in Vegas all the time where the world comes to you in one room. And it's interesting to see people really believe what certain people say, or it opens a door for their agenda. Now, my friend with Kanye, and we're going to get to some other stuff, because this was a pattern of Kanye West, and I'll tell you about my interviews as well. But my friend said, why do people care what Kanye say? It's Kanye West. From a surface value, I understand that. But you got to dig deeper, because right now you have people in Los Angeles that are dropping pamphlets, that are going on overpasses saying Kanye West was right. And these are people that are anti-Semitic, white supremacists, but they're backing what a black dude is saying. Like, that's where we are right now. They're backing what a white supremacists are like, yeah, that black guy is right. I mean, how crazy is that? So what it does is when any person, not just kind of says something, they have a big platform. If you say something that is crazy, not right, hateful, people that are like that and that agree with that, that opens the door for them to walk through. And now you've given them a voice. And that's the problem with the Kanye West thing. People go, well, it's just Kim Kardashian, or it's just Kanye West, or it's just Paris Hilton, or it's just whatever celebrity. It's like, if they say something that's, I mean, without a doubt wrong, that opens the door to people who believe that. And now they have a champion. And a white supremacist group's champion is a black guy right now. I don't know if you ever seen Dave Chappelle. He has this bit called, I forgot the guy's name, but it's Bigsby. It's a blind black man that's a Ku Klux Klan member. He doesn't know he's black, right? So
my gosh.
So he's in the Ku Klux because he doesn't know. And it's one of Dave Chappelle's all-time great clips. All-time great. But I feel like when I think about that bit, I think about Kanye West right now, because everything he does is, you don't have a choice as slavery. He's always, the MAGA hats. And I don't care about his political affiliation, but he was doing that to spark up, black people, the White Lives Matter.
Lives Matter shirts, yeah.
And here's the thing about White Lives Matter. It's crazy that we live in a world today that white people feel so attacked all the time that they have to let people know White Lives Matter, where you have seen proof 400 years in counting that black people were oppressed. And all black people were saying by that statement. And this is not, I'm not talking about the organization. Michael Che has a great group, a great joke about it. And he's an SNL, and I saw one of his specials. And the point he made was, people, certainly, I don't want to say, and I hate to group all white people, certain white people had a problem with Black Lives Matter. And Michael Che's thing was, we just want to matter. Like, people are getting mad. We're not saying black lives are the best, black lives should rule the world. We're saying, hey, they should matter. And some people got a problem with that, and it's a thing where certain groups of people want to say, oh, all that stuff in the past never happened. We're talking about now. Everybody has the same opportunity. Everybody has. No, they don't. No, they don't. If you're from an underprivileged, I don't care what color you are. If you're from an underprivileged part of town, you're starting behind my son at a private school. You have to work 10 times as hard. because our teachers are paid. They have smaller classrooms. So I don't want to hear that everybody starts at that, because you don't. Yes, everyone has to work hard. I agree with that. But you can't pretend like people don't, no matter what color, don't start at different places and have to catch up. All right? I'm just done with that.
Yeah, you know what shocks me is it goes from back in the day, Black Power.
Yes.
It's like it was much more in your face. It was really in there, right? And basically shut it down, right? White people didn't like it. They started, I know
certain white people.
Yes,
I don't want to.
yes.
Because the problem with today is when you say black people, white people, Mexicans, or Latins, or
That's
this,
true.
it just groups a whole.
Yeah.
And that's why I always try to say
We're talking like the extremes,
a certain group of extreme white people. And like I said, there's extremes in every color.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get away from that.
Yeah. And well, they did not like it. And now you look at 2022, the message is much more toned down. Now it's not even, Black Power, empowerment. Now it's just like Black Lives Matter. Like we're just trying to say
we matter. All black people are trying to say we matter.
Yeah.
And then
they still don't.
It's so amazing that people got a problem with that. Yeah. And so now white people and I got it on my comedy special. I got a bunch of comments go, well, if a white guy was to say that joke, like, why? Well, if a white guy said that joke, they would get in trouble. Oh, okay. And I go, no, they wouldn't, because they're saying, I got a joke that says my wife is not just white, she's white. And certain white people got it. Well, what if I was white and I said my friend is black, but not just black? I go, nobody would care. Nobody would care. I'm not saying anything. It's a joke, and it's not even bad. I go, she's from Gillette, Wyoming, white. If I go, that's why she's white. If I go, my friend is black. He's not just black. He's black. He's from Compton, California, black. Guess what? Nobody would care, and nobody would get. So that's how ridiculous people are reaching.
But everybody does that. I mean, you heard the expression "fresh off the boat."
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The same thing with Hispanics. Where like wet. What
Yeah.
black,
No,
whatever,
I got. Yeah.
And we all have that uncle. Like if I'm talking to my family and stuff, I'll be like, he is the most Mexican I know.
Yeah.
But everybody has that. Yeah.
And it's a thing where. It's the thing where I have a new joke, and I don't want to even go into it, but after the joke, it's crushing. And it talks about racial names people used to call me. It's very shocking to the audience, but I play it up where it's, in the end, I let everyone off the hook, right? And I'll have certain white people come up to me after the show and go, oh my God, my dad used to say, and they'll say the words I just said on stage. And I'm having a problem because I'm almost like opening the door for them to say it. But I talk about how bad it was for me to hear. And they go, oh my God, because it's a funny joke. And they go, oh, my dad used to say, and they say the words to me, which is very, very racist.
What words? What?
Yeah, so I have a joke.
They do not say that to you.
Some white people will come up to me and go, oh my God, that joke is my favorite joke. My dad used to say stuff like that. And I go, in my mind, I'm like, you just said it. What are you talking about, your dad? You just said it in front of me. And I have to find, as a comic, I have to now figure out a funny way to say, don't say that to me after the show. Because the whole point of the joke is how messed up it was. And
you didn't like it, yeah.
And I've heard Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle talk about this. It's like, hey, you'll do a joke and you don't like the laugh. You get a big laugh, but I do like the laugh. I just don't like the aftermath of the laugh. So I need to add a part after it, joking, don't say this to me. And I don't need to know your relatives used to say it.
Yeah.
Because if your relatives said it, that means you probably said it too because you were too young not to know not to say it. Because race is not, you don't born with races, you learn racism. Yep. You know what I mean? So going back to Kanye West, and I don't want this whole podcast to be let's shit on white people. You know, that's not the thing. But this, with Kanye West, the things we're talking about is the kind of things where he's gone against black people. And this is so odd because in 2005, Kanye West was on with Mike Myers. You remember he was on TV and he goes, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
I do remember that.
And it was such an odd moment for Michael Myers. But now it seems like Kanye is that guy that's against black people from the outside. To
Yeah.
me, to
No,
me.
no, I agree. I've never been in a time where more white people like Kanye than black people.
I know what a certain group of
Again,
white
yeah,
people love
I'm
that,
just
but
stereotyping a
it
little
just
bit.
goes to show you that white supremacists, what they're saying, who they should be agreeing with, is a black man, and I never thought that, and that made me think of the Dave Chappelle bit. So yeah, this is all just blowing me away. This is honestly just blowing me away, and I'm in this is what I really feel. In America, you need enemies, right? We thrive on fear and enemies. The news is fear and enemies. You know, on news, if it bleeds, it leads. On entertainment news, if it's a scandal, it's up top. It leads the show, right? So if we're taught, oh, believe in yourself. If you tell yourself you could do it, and you want to surround yourself with positivity. But in normal life, really, every time you turn on the TV, turn on your Instagram, I don't know, every time I turn on Instagram, dead, this person died, this person died. And then all this negativity, you're hearing just dark stories all day. So your mind, if you keep hearing that, then you're like, well, the world's messed up. So I make it in part of, it's the news, it's social media, but you just got to navigate through that stuff because we need an enemy, and some people say, well, Kanye West is that enemy right now. Well, he's kind of helping out a lot, you know, and what happens in the political world is there was always another country or another war that you could say was the enemy. So both sides would focus on that. There's really not that right now. So what politics has done is turned on each other. Oh, we're going to take our country back. Who are you taking it back from? Other Americans? I mean, that's how ridiculous that sounds. Who are you taking your country back from? Because now we don't have other countries to blame. So now each side, even Democrats, are saying, "Oh, we gotta go after Republicans." So now we're fighting with each other, and it's a dangerous, dangerous path we're going, because now we're saying we're at odds with each other. Yeah. And when I hear we're going to take our country back, or I'm fighting for you, it's like, you're fighting other Americans and you're going to take back the country from other Americans, and I'm going to fight for you. You're going to fight other Americans that's how I hear all that. I'll always add Americans at the end of it. Like, we're going to be fighting Americans for you. We're going to take the country back from Americans for you. Like, I don't understand how we got to this point, but it's about money. It's about holding power. It's not about us anymore. The politicians do not care about us. They're just trying to, it's a job that pays $100,000 to $200,000, but they're all freaking millionaires. There's a reason. Because they have special interests. They need to take money out of politics. It's just dirty. It's just dirty. So that's what I have to say on that. And Kanye West, man, I've interviewed him several times. I interviewed him 3 times before his mother passed away, and I interviewed him a year after, I believe, his mother passed away. I know I interviewed him after. And I got to say, the 3 times I interviewed him, he's the Kanye. Look, Kanye's always been cocky. He's always been outspoken, right? But he had guidance with his mother, I feel. He started the Donda West Foundation. They just closed down his Donda school, but Donda was the name of his mom. But what was so cool is I was invited every year. He would do a charity for all the kids that had perfect attendance. He would do a free concert. And that was a big deal in Chicago. Hometown hero doing a free concert. So all these schools, it was beautiful.
I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
Kanye's big.
Yeah. So it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. And his mom was there and she was lovely. But after she passed away, he did it the next year, again in her honor, but he was different. He was just, but his mom was everything in his life. And I don't know, would he be any different today if she was still around? But I know one thing. If you saw his documentary on Netflix.
That's what I was going to say. It's
his mom
night
was
and
everything.
Day. It's night and day from when he's
you
filming
could tell
before his mom passed away and after.
Yeah.
And it felt like he had lost structure, like you were saying. But he also had, for some reason, it looked like he had lost some sort of purpose.
Yes.
Because every time that I saw him, he would go back to his mom, and his mom was like his biggest fan.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, in a way, it's like he was doing it for her. And I'm not saying that's the case, but that's what it looked like. And
He was doing it, you know what? You're right. He was doing to make her proud. He always wanted her to be proud
Yeah.
of him, and that was the purpose. Hey, mom, you like this song? Like, I love the conversations over the phone in his documentary with him and his mom. Hey, mom, I got this new. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You're making it. You know what I mean? It was beautiful to see that. He's given his mom everything she could ever dream of.
And she knew all the lyrics.
She knew all the lyrics. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, after that, that's when, at least in the documentary, it looked very chaotic.
Yes.
And yeah, so.
And that's when everything turned. But look, I guess what I'm just trying to say is we know the dude is not mentally well right now. And I'm not going to give him a break because he knows he's not mentally well. And how many times are you going to let a person say whatever they want to say, disappear for a little while, and then go, well, you know, I wasn't on my meds, or I'm bipolar and that's a part of it. It's like, no. As media, we need to be better and stop putting him on air. He has social media. He can go on his own social media and say all the crazy stuff he wants. He doesn't need your help. All right? But you want the clicks, you want the money, and that's sad because that's how entertainment, that's how these big companies are ran, you know? And I think that's look, Kanye West's story is sad, but even sadder is the people taking advantage of Kanye West right now when he's in this mental state.
And the only reason that they're getting away with it too, just so you know, is because it's Kanye. Like if you take somebody else who's mentally ill and you put, like, let's say they're saying, you know, the government is controlled by whoever, like aliens and extraterrestrial, like it doesn't matter, right? Imagine you putting that on the news and knowing that they're mentally ill. People are going to look at you and be like, why are you spewing his misinformation?
You know, and I don't want to say it's the color of his skin, but I think certain people enjoy watching
him make a fool of himself, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they never liked him in the first place. And this kind of fits the narrative for them. You know, it's like, look at this black dude, or look at, even some black people don't like Kanye. And like, look at this. I'm enjoying watching this guy fall. And that's what news does, man. It breaks you down and then it builds you back up. Look at Britney. Britney was on top of the world, and then they loved, and they're going to say they didn't, but they covered it. Like,
when she shaved her head. Oh, even I remember that. And that was like really young.
Now that's news. Now that's beating top political stories of the world. And, you know, we'll get into another podcast of my thoughts about how, like, people love to punch down in this country, and we never have people above us hold responsibility. We're too busy being like, oh, the people below me is the reason for this. But no, it's the people up top making the decisions. But look, leave some comments about Kanye West. Like I said, it's sad for Kanye, but it's even sad. To me, it's sadder for the people taking advantage of him and making millions off him right now when he's not well. So any last comments?
No, man. Just, you got a show coming up.
Oh yeah,
I
do have a show. I have one in Vancouver coming up. I have one in North Carolina at Jimmy Kimmel's. I'll be at Jimmy Kimmel's in Las Vegas. They're reopening that club on November 10th. So a lot of dates. Just go to michaelyo.com. Watch my new special, michaelyo.com. Yeah, just support me, man. And we love the subscribes. Hit that subscribe button, and we appreciate you. Any final thing from you?
No, man. I think we'll see him in the next one.
All right, we'll see you in the next one. Later.